And I said it like the same. Are you ready for this? Welcome to my random kitchen in my next guest's actual house. I am Brittany Bass, a full-time passenger seat princess and operations manager of Matt Becker Fishing. If you don't know me yet, I am also Matt Becker's girlfriend. He is a professional bass fisherman on the Bass Pro Tour with Major League Fishing, and we are in full swing of our second season on that tour. So with this channel and podcast, I plan to bring on some of the best wives, fiancés, and girlfriends to talk about their lives, their families, their superstitions, because we got them too, so that you can hear from our side all the behind-the-scenes goodness that goes into making a tournament season successful. So this is episode 9 of Random Kitchens. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We are currently sitting in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and I am so pumped to introduce you guys to this hot mama of 3, this crazy schedule balancer, fellow fishing lover, and my ride or die during tournament season. Welcome, professional angler Spencer Shuffield's wife, Kristin Shuffield. So welcome to the channel, and not so random of a kitchen this week because we are sitting in actually her in-law suite's kitchen. So the boys are upstairs. Well, one is upstairs, one is asleep. So we are taking over her in-law's kitchen today. So like I said, we are sitting in her kitchen because we're here for a couple of days. So Matt and I were able to stop back through when we were coming back through from the Classic Expo so the boys could fish and we could have a spa day. So I haven't had a spa day since like 2021. I think Matt got it the last time. It was like for my birthday. So I'm like super pumped. So what do we have scheduled?
So we're going to go to the Astral Spa. This is at Oaklawn, so big deal here in Hot Springs. The Astral Spa is, I think, the best because they have amenities. All the other spas, you go to get a massage and you just get a massage, but this is like an actual spa experience. So we're going to go ahead of our massages and we're going to go do the sauna and the cold room and
potentially a needle room.
A needle shower.
Needle shower. So I'll keep you posted on the needle shower. I think it sounds like really like it would feel good, kind of.
Yeah, it's supposed to bring blood flow to the top of your skin.
Yeah, that'll be good. We'll pick up your kids and I'll just be like blown out. But I can't wait. So you guys, starting from the beginning, because obviously I have gotten to know her very well. So I'm going to try to do this. When I was writing the questions, it was actually kind of difficult because like I knew what she was going to say or the answer. So I was like, okay. So starting from the beginning, for people who don't know you at all, who are you, where do you work, and where are you from?
So I'm Kristin Shuffield. I'm Spencer Shuffield's wife. I'm from Hot Springs, Arkansas. I'm actually a registered nurse. So I work here in Hot Springs at the smaller hospital in this town, so National Park Medical Center in surgery.
Love it. And how many years have you guys been fishing on a national circuit?
Together since nationally, he made it in 2020. Made it back in
2020. And then prior to that, and we'll get into all this, but prior to that, how long did he fish before making it back?
Like locally, he fished from...
Nationally before, so like on the FLW tour.
So he graduated high school early a semester so that he could fish because his dad fished professionally. So I think 2007 or 6, possibly 7, to 2016, I think was his last year.
Okay, so like almost 10 years previously. Okay. And then do you travel full-time with him?
I do this year.
I know. I'm so pumped. And then previously, did you travel like intermittently or how did that work?
So I had to kind of pick and choose with my work schedule, and obviously we have 3 kids. Trying to work that around. I've got to have somebody to watch our kids when we're gone, somebody I trust. And so his mom was able to kind of watch them pretty much full time this past year. So.
And we are loving it for multiple reasons, and we'll kind of dive into all of those too, which is like I think an awesome thing that this life like provides. So, okay. So like I said, because I know you so well, it was very difficult to get all my questions together, surprisingly. So I'm just going to pretend like I know nothing. So starting with the you and Spencer story, we're going to do that before the break, and then we're going to do like tournament world and tournament life and what that looks like after the break. So starting from the beginning of you two, how did y'all meet?
So interesting. He actually, my little brother, who's 6 years younger than me, fished in high school. He was encouraged to be a boat captain, and so I met him at Spencer. Yes, okay. So he was fishing nationally at this time. I didn't know him from anywhere else, but he captained a boat for my brother, and so I met him really for the first time then. I knew of him, but I've never physically met him.
Yeah, like small area, and if people are fishing at all, it's kind of smaller world. Yeah. So what was y'all's first date? Was it planned or not planned, or how did it?
Actually, I asked him, and we went to Walmart to buy groceries for dinner, which happened to be spaghetti. So that was
that's good. Now we do spaghetti every night before tournaments. So look at that.
Yes, he was outside playing in the yard. I think actually with my little brother, and my grandma said, "Hey, will you go get stuff for groceries?" And he wasn't like making any kind of move, so I was like, rolled up the road, and he rolled down the window. "Hey, you want to go to the grocery store with me?" And he turned and was like, "Me? You want me to go to the grocery store?" I was like, "Yeah." And there we went.
Aww. Like, hint, hint. Yes. I would like to make dinner with you forever.
Yes.
So, had you kind of like had eyes for him, like through that whole, or like did you find him before he found you? I guess.
No, I think it was at the same time, because me and him were both going through a lot of changes in our life. I was going through divorce. He was going through divorce. He was hanging out with my little brother, so he was at my Mimi's house, which my Mimi has this huge house, and we all lived in it. And so I was around him then, and kind of got to know him better, and so we kind of just leaned on each other during that time. I don't think it was like a planned thing. Yeah. But going back to the first date thing, I guess you could really say me asking him, that was our first date. But so my dad and his girlfriend at the time thought it would be funny that they invited him blindly to my birthday dinner. So he shows up and is like, "Oh, Kristin's here. Like, didn't know I was going to be there. It's my birthday dinner."
It's your birthday.
It's my dad's girlfriend, and me.
Of course, he would just come in.
Yep. He walked in, you know, baseball hat. It's an Italian restaurant.
Nice.
And I had tiramisu, and I was eating it, and he kept looking at it. And if you know Spencer, he loves dessert. So I was like, "Do you want a bite?" And offered him a bite off my fork. And he still jokes me about it, because he was like, "You didn't even know me, and you let me eat off your fork."
He could have been crazy.
Could have been.
Crazier. No, I'm kidding. So is he a big, like, sappy romantic guy?
No, I don't think. I mean, okay. He can watch a romantic movie. He loves romantic movies, and he'll cry. And he'll hide it, but he'll cry. But he doesn't do, like, sappy romantic things.
With you?
Not anymore. Like, he used to write me little notes, but honestly, I think when you've been married for, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
He still, like, asks for cuddles and stuff.
He does. He'll ask.
It's quicker now that you think about it. Sorry.
He does ask for cuddles, but like, he's not one of those that's gonna be like, "Oh, babe," you know.
That's probably good. I feel like that would be a little much.
Maybe a little much.
The notes would be
know
cool,
each other
though.
right now.
Yeah, the notes would be cool though. I like the notes. So, do you remember who said "I love you" first?
No, but probably me.
Yeah. So I know when y'all met, obviously, and when you started dating Spencer. So kind of like through this whole time, like she just said, they were both going through a lot, and they previously had a whole bunch of stuff, or he previously had a whole bunch of stuff. So we mentioned it. We'll get into it a little bit, but he had stopped fishing on that national level kind of at that time, right?
Well, he was, because of the situation he was in, he went through divorce, had to file bankruptcy, and so he pretty much sold everything that he had. He couldn't fish anymore. He couldn't afford to fish. Like, he was just at an all-time low.
Trying to fix everything. Mm-hmm. So at this point, he wasn't fishing nationally when they had started dating. Mm-hmm. He was fishing locally, right?
No.
Oh,
Actually,
no fishing at all.
When we first got together, he had sold everything, so he didn't have anything. And at this point, he was like, I'm never going to make it back. Like, that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah. Did you know his love for fishing?
Yeah, because I'd seen it before and heard it from my brother. But then he was in this situation. Like, he was going around at houses in Hot Springs Village, which is a retirement community here, like, asking to power wash things.
Yeah, like just trying to recover.
Yeah, so in his mind, like, man, I blew it. I'm not going to make it back.
Yeah. So when you guys met, there was no talks of, like, in the future when I get back?
No,
like,
I actually talked him into, you got to do this.
Aww.
And so then that's when he we got the ball rolling the best way that we knew how. So he fished everything he could locally. He fished out of other people's boats he had to borrow. Their equipment, rods, all this and stuff. Like, when I say scratch, I mean scratch.
Yeah.
Bottom all the way back up.
Dang. Like, I think that that's so insane. But even, like, so now, like, and we'll get into this a little bit, but, like, jumping into this life is just so crazy. Because also in the middle of that, so, and timeline, I'm going to be super off. So you're going to have to help me with this. But, like, basically, you guys meet. He was in this terrible situation, and he is trying to just, like, start over and start from scratch. At this point, he has 2 kids. You have a daughter. Mm-hmm. So they have this beautiful blended family, which we'll get into in a second because I love them. But so he is power washing. You went back to nursing school kind of in the middle of here too.
Mm-hmm. So when we first started talking, I was working at a walk-in clinic, and my mom and my grandma are nurses, so, like, I was kind of that, I don't want to do nursing, but then I was like, okay, well, I gotta do something more. So I went into I was like, we talked about it, and I applied for nursing school, and I got in. So, mind you, this whole time, he's, like, fishing professionally, or not professionally. He's fishing here, trying to make it back professionally, while also solely supporting us, the 3 kids, and me going to nursing school.
Yeah. So, insanity in the middle of here. So, kind of, like, timeline-wise, when did y'all meet?
So, we actually met at the end of 2016. Well, no. If you want to get technical, we met in 2015, but, like, that was when he boat captained.
Okay. So, with your brother. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, and he was still married. Okay. So, met in the capacity of, hey, we're both free, 2016.
Yeah. Gotcha. And then started dating 2016?
Mm-hmm.
Got married
September of 2017.
2017.
On my birthday.
On your on your birthday, so he can never forget that date. So in that year, that's also when you started going back to school in 2017?
No. So I applied for nursing school, and I got in 2018.
Okay. And then 2018 was also when he was starting his journey back to professional fishing?
Pretty much.
Okay. And then and so he was... Basically, the journey back at that time was, what did he do? Toyotas to pro circuit?
Yeah, so he fished, in order to support us here, he fished everything local. So, like, we have a bunch of, we live in Hot Springs. Yeah. So, like, there's, like, Lake Hamilton, Lake Ouachita, Lake Catherine, DeGray. They're all within the area. And then they had, like, Arkansas Bass Team Trail and Mr. Bass of Arkansas. So he fished those. And he actually, the only reason why he was able to make it to the pro circuit back was because he won the championship for Mr. Bass 2 years in a row. Got a memo boat, so he had a boat to fish out of.
Oh.
Fished the Toyota Series. Finally got the call from Bill Taylor, because it was Bill Taylor at this time that he got it. And I just remember that day, me and him, like, his phone rang and we saw it was Bill Taylor, and we both I started crying. He was just, like, looking at his phone, and I was like, answer the phone!
That's so crazy. So then he made it back in was that 2020?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 2020. And then obviously made the Fish Pro Circuit and made Bass Pro Tour in 2022 when Matt did too, and then they both fished Pro Circuit for the first year last year. So what a freaking crazy cycle of events. Like, it gives me goosebumps because it makes me so proud. Like, and I'll get into it a little bit later too. I keep saying that because like this is why writing the questions was so difficult, because like there's all these like little tangents and like things that just make me so proud. But definitely that is huge. Not only making it to a national tour once, but doing it twice, and starting from rock bottom both times. Like, that's just insane. So I think it's amazing. I think it's awesome when someone can do that, and I really, it's like commendable, because people ask all the time, how do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? You work freaking hard. Yeah. Like, fish every single day and want it more than anything. Like, it is that like intense. And then obviously you have to have someone who believes in it too with you. Like, you just do. Mm-hmm. So I think that the support system is like, second to none. Obviously, she's the one who convinced them to come back. So thank God for that, because I would have never met them. So how on earth, like I said, all of the things in the middle, they have 3 kids, but how on earth did you guys manage that? The nursing school, him trying to return fishing, and kids?
So,
or is it like repressed?
No, like Grayson and Aubrey were already in school. Okay. So Kennedy and Grayson, my 2 youngest, are 9 months apart. So Kennedy had to wait a year to start school. So since she was not in school and we couldn't really afford to pay for daycare, she had to go fishing with Daddy every day. So all of these years, her growing up, and I think it's like traumatized her now, because you ask her if she wants to go fishing, she's like, no. She would pack her little lunchbox and get her little iPad, little tablet, and she'd go, and they'd go out all day long.
Dang, I did not know that. Yeah. I knew she went, but I didn't know like to that extent.
Yeah, he kept her, and they had a lot of quality time together. Aww. I would go to nursing school during the day, and it was at Baptist in Little Rock, so that's an hour from here. Yeah. So like clinicals and stuff was an hour away. Obviously, Jeez. I didn't work because I felt like if I didn't work, I could get through it quicker and I'd do better and
just be done with it.
Yeah, and so I was done in 3 semesters.
Oh, dang.
But I
focused. Holy cow, that's intense. And then, obviously, like I said, they have 3 beautiful kids and a blended family and a mini weenie Jasper. A mega weenie. He's kind of a mega weenie. But tell me about each of them. So, like she said, it's Grayson, Kennedy, and Aubrey. And then Jasper is the mega weenie.
So, Aubrey is our oldest. And I say ours because she's his. But, like I've said, we've been around each other's lives. Like, I think Aubrey technically met Kennedy for the first time when she was 3 months old. But when we started dating, Kennedy was not a year old yet. She was like 8 months. So they've been around each other her whole life. But I'm the sole mom in Aubrey's life. I'm not her biological mom, but she's mine. Their mom is not a part of their life. So she's mine. She's our oldest. She'll be 12 in June. She's very motherly. Sweet, calm. She's kind of like the serene to the 2 crazy twins is what we call them. And then
she is like a good middle, I feel
she is. She's very chill, like goes with the flow, kind of like her daddy, I guess.
Yeah, like bridges the gap between them too.
Grayson can be calm, but he's also a boy, so he can be very rambunctious, but he's very sweet. He's our middle child, so he's 9. And he won't be 10 until November. And then Kennedy, of course, is my biological child, so we call her the tornado. I mean, she's like 8 going on 30, which you saw her tonight, just talking and the way she acts and her mannerisms. And so we have our hands full with all 3 of them.
And what are they into? They all are into, 2 of them are kind of into the same thing, and then one is
so Aubrey and Kennedy do competitive cheer. So that's another aspect that's very hard to juggle with the whole me being gone. They travel. They had like 6 or 7 competitions this season, like out-of-state competitions. And Grayson does soccer, and his is also travel, but not out-of-the-state travel.
at least it's close. And all of their travel is the first like couple months of the year. And if you know bass fishing, a lot of our tournaments are the first couple months of the year. So it has been very intense on her, but their family in general this year. It's been kind of crazy. So what do you guys do as a family to make the travel like more manageable?
We FaceTime a lot. I have a grandma group. My village that is here while we are gone consists of Mimi, which is Spencer's mom, Debbie Shuffield, and then Laura Skipper, which is Aubrey and Grayson's biological mother. It's her mom. So she's Minnie, and she's the soccer grandma. So she's in charge of getting Grayson to soccer. And then we have Gigi, who is actually not blood-related grandma at all, but she used to be married to Cameron, which is Aubrey and Grayson's grandfather. But she's still very much a part of the grandma group. And so we FaceTime, and we have a group chat, and they keep me updated on all things the kids while we're gone. And then when we're home, we have movie night with the kids. And when we're home, we try to make it all about them, and Spencer tries to make it all about them. And so he's gone a lot, and we just try to make, like tonight, playing Uno. That made their whole night.
We did friendship bracelets and Uno, and it was fabulous. And we did some soccer and all of that too. I love the grandma group. So they have like a grandma group chat that's like, I mean, honestly, they have so much going on to just like help organize that stuff. I think it's so awesome. But I absolutely love that their village is so big. And I think a lot of people take, especially nowadays, like family and just like who's there to help for granted, or they don't see it or utilize it. And I just like love that your village is so big, and it's so fun because there's always people. Like it's just good. And they all are relatively close. So
the beach vacation we went on for spring break, all the grandmas were supposed to go, but we had a death in the family, so Mimi didn't get to go, but Gigi and Minnie went. So it was like we try to do that once a year, like all of us with the grandmas, just to kind of thank you, which we don't have to because they're the grandmas, but it's just
it's nice.
We couldn't do it without them.
Yeah. So it is crazy. So it's awesome, obviously, that they have so much family time, which is what bass fishing can afford. When they are home, they can be fully home because they're technically done with work, even though they're not done with work. They can just prioritize the time a little bit differently instead of also having to go work a 9 to 5, which is super awesome. And then obviously when they're gone, the grandma group takes over, and the kids don't miss a beat because they stay here and continue their activities. So I think it's awesome. So what is your most fun memory together, fishing or non-fishing? And this can be you and Spencer or the family.
Oh, gosh.
I know. It's loaded.
I don't know, because there's some questions later that I read, and I was like, all right, I got to have this answer for this one.
You can repeat if you want.
Probably, like, the first time we actually went to Disney World together. So, like, we got married, and then I had, like, I had to do something, he had something, and we couldn't go anywhere. So we got married in September and couldn't go on our honeymoon until October, and we went to Disney. And the reason why we got to go to Disney is because he had won a tournament. So, we're kind of living paycheck here. But we went to Disney, and it was like, people think, oh, you went to Disney, that's for kids. But it was, I'm telling you, go as adults. It's like the most fun you can ever have. And we just like, with all the stress going on, everything that we were like trying to get over and the adversity we were trying to, we acted like a couple of kids, and we had fun, and it was just lots of memories made there.
Aww.
And so even now when we go back to Disney.
I didn't know that was y'all's honeymoon.
Yeah.
Oh, my parents freaking love Disney. Like, love it. I haven't been as an adult yet. Like, I've been to Harry Potter World, so I take that back, and I freaking love Harry Potter World. So if you know me, lover of Harry Potter and all things Harry Potter. But so I've been there like 3 times as an adult. Mm-hmm. But I haven't been to, like, I really would like to go to Animal Kingdom. You know how much I love animals. Yeah. Like, Animal Kingdom again would be awesome. They're roller coaster people, so I'm sure like y'all had a ball with that.
We did.
I'm like a spinny teacups human, so that's about my level.
I am, unless it's got heights. If it's got like sharp drops, then Spencer's out, which you know that until you're out.
I know. we took a trip together, so I did not put this in here. Again, she'll be back on the show because there's just so many things. But Spencer was like, I want to go hiking in the mountains, like, but I want to go to big mountains. We go to Colorado on the way out west, and then he's like, I'm scared of heights. I'm like, what?
That's because we took a trip. It was when they fished in Tennessee at Douglas and Cherokee last year. So that was the same week as the kids' spring break.
Yeah.
So we went to Gatlinburg. Well, also Anakeesta. Well, Anakeesta has the big, ski lifts, gondola. And he was in it, and it's one that comes down, and it's not enclosed.
Yeah, okay. They didn't go in the enclosed, the bus gondola. They rode.
He rode with Grayson, and it starts going up, and he's like, oh no, it's not locked. So he rides with his face in Grayson's hood the entire time, and the whole time he's thinking, if I slide out and die, Grayson's going to die. I didn't think he was going to make it all the way up. Meanwhile, me and the girls are having the best time ever.
He's a hard pass on open air gondolas.
Yes, no.
Also, we knew this, and we booked a resort that you have to take a gondola down and tell So also probably, it was enclosed. This one was fine. He was doing okay. But the open air, hard pass. There was one right next to us, and it was like a one-seater open air. I'm like, no. That's a no. Oh my gosh. So traveling a lot can definitely make that quality time part hard, as you guys know, obviously, as we know. What's your go-to date night?
Movies.
Yeah.
We usually go to a movie. And like out to dinner somewhere at some point, which I'm probably jumping ahead, but I know y'all's is a little different. When y'all travel, it's like work time, and it's work time for him too, but that's like my time.
Yeah.
With him, no kids. And
that's, I said at the beginning, like, we're going to come back to this, because this is definitely, like, we agree, like, almost 100% on everything as far as, like, a tournament week, in relation to that, like, how intense it is, how much we love it, how much we love to watch live, like, all the things. Our main difference is on, like, view of tournament weeks is, obviously, Matt and I don't have kids, so this week for us is 100% work. And when we go home, it's like our relaxing time, but kind of a blessing to them. And the way that it works is when they travel together, it is a work week, but it is a work week without the extra work of kids and a house and having to run around to sports and all of that. So they're working, but they also get their time together for like movies in bed or like, snacks. Like they'll go out and get crumble cookies and, bring them back to share and all that. But like they have their little like date night things, and bass fishing kind of provides that for them because they have to be away. So versus like a different family where it's harder to schedule in that time because there's really not a need to be away. Like they have the need to be away and then can make it like more of a fun experience for them too. And I kind of love that. Like I think that a lot of people meet those built-in or miss the built-in date nights. Like I was talking to someone else on the podcast, like make sure you date your spouse, and when you don't have kids, it's easier to build that in versus when you do. And since you guys like have a reason to be away, it like gives you that time.
Well, yeah. And then when he's home, I kind of feel like since I get to go with him, like he needs to be focusing his time on the kids. So it's a little bit harder for us to like carve out time when we're home because I feel like that time should be devoted to the kids,
Which is good, I think, because then they get like 100%, and then you also don't feel left out.
Right, because when I'm home, I work. So.
Yeah. So that's the other cool thing because, like she said, she is is it an OR nurse? Is that?
An ORRN.
ORRN. RN. She's an RN. So with her job, it's cool because she can schedule when she can be home, so then she actually can be away full time versus like some of them you'll have to fly into, but most of them and the fly-in ones are like because of girls cheer, like she goes to all their competitions or all of the main ones really, but so instead of flying in and out, like she actually can come and experience the whole week because you can now schedule your time, right? Yep,
like when their tournament schedule comes out, the people up at the front will be like, you better put it in the calendar, and I'll write down like all the weeks that like he's gonna be going. And I'm like, all right, here you go.
Fabulous. So I have really loved it. I mean, it's definitely an interesting life to live, you know, just with your person. But then when you can find like a partner in crime that does it the same way, like that's very difficult to do, and like understands exactly like what they're fishing for, because like Matt worked from the bottom, Spencer worked from the bottom, so like the importance, like it gives me chills every time I think about it, because it's just like so important to them. It means so much to them. They really love it. They love the life, and I just love like that you also love the life. And it's like you know, it's something that we don't even have to explain to each other, because we're just so proud of both of them that it's like fun to sit together, I feel like, or like it's fun to be together. Okay, so what is the best part of loving a tournament angler?
The best part. I guess seeing how passionate he is about one thing. So he's so passionate about bass fishing, but that also transfers to like family. Like he's very passionate about his family, me, and so I think if you're married to somebody who loves a sport that much that they have to devote that much time, as demanding as it is, they have that passionate quality because you have to. Yeah. It's huge because it has to be.
Yeah. So then they can kind of share that passion in other areas too. Yeah, I think so. It was definitely on my Bumble list of things was passion. Because I think it's more fun to love someone who is that passionate too, because if everyone's like ho-hum about something, then you're like, well, meh. Yeah, like meh. Like who wants to lead a meh life? No one. Or you shouldn't. Life is very colorful. It should not be meh. But what's the hardest part about loving a tournament angler?
So I've heard her do lots of podcasts.
Yeah,
like I usually ride
along.
And so I knew my answer to this, and we've actually talked about it. The hardest thing for me, it's like a double-edged sword. So I know that he has to devote all of his attention and time to bass fishing. Like, that's what it is. This is his job. Like, he is a legitimate professional athlete. And so I know that, but it's hard for me during tournament time to, like, step back and be like, all right, he's not always going to think about me first. Like, he's going to be thinking about this tournament first. And maybe that's just because I'm a selfish person. But I feel like I should be the center of attention. And that's hard for me sometimes.
Hey, I'm like right there with you. Because it is. It's like, you have to like choose to be second or like be okay with being second. Because you know you're first in their head. But it's hard to tell yourself that in the middle of a tournament. Yes. When you're like, you know, like they're having a good or bad tournament, and you like want to get that text or that call on the break, and you like don't, and you're like, okay, but like obviously, but like obviously, totally okay with that. It's just like in your head, you're like, I wonder, like if he's okay. Like I wonder, did he see my memes of how funny, like all the meatballs? Like,
I saw you read that, but you didn't respond.
So it's just like totally different. I feel that though. I definitely think that's a hard part for me, is like being very okay with being second parts of the time in my life. Yeah. Because that's like what I have to like center. It is temporary second. Because they can't, like if it's like one thing, and you know, like say one of the kids was sick or something, like if they called him in the middle of the tournament, like he would be answering the phone to make sure that they're okay. So it's like just trying to not let those things happen too is also difficult, like keeping the news, kosher. Actually,
because the last tournament we had, so the past like 7 months, we've had like several deaths in Spencer's family. So I think at the last tournament, Aunt Faye died, which I don't even know who Aunt Faye is, and I don't know if he does. But I didn't know if he knew who Aunt Faye was, so I didn't tell him until...
And this was Redcrest, so it was like a championship, and she's like, I just don't know if I should bring it up. Because it had been a lot, and his grandpa was going through a lot, like, and it was just like, it was another death in the family. It's just like some terrible news, so it's... Do you share or do you not share in the middle of a tournament? So that's always hard, too, to navigate. But what's something you do for you while you're on the road?
I read a lot. So when I'm home, like I said, I work pretty much every day, or like I'm the one that always takes the girls to cheer. So when I'm at tournaments, I spend time with you.
Yes.
Or we go do fun things, or I read. And so he, all day while they're practicing, we have all day to do whatever we want to do for the most part. There's little stuff that we have to do for them, but nothing compared to, like, when I'm here, I'm so needed at all costs that I can do whatever I want.
Anything. We can go to breakfast. We can get a coffee. We can, obviously, like she said, we both read. So read a lot of books. We can watch a movie. Like, we go shopping and get, stuff that we need, to, like, cooking stuff that we need, any of that. But I think it's so nice. Like, I value the time. And again, finding someone who does it on equal level, so they, like, you don't drain my social battery. Like, I don't feel like, hopefully I don't drain your social battery. But, like, it can just chill. It's so nice. Okay, for a new lady, a part of the fishing family, what is your best piece of advice for them? It could be, like, a new mom, too, because you've seen it from all ends.
I think going back to the whole what's hard for me is, like, you're going to have to learn. Growing up, little girls, you always want to be, like, the center of your man's life, which I'm not. I feel like that's saying stuff, but I don't mean it that way. I just mean when you get married, you're like, oh, I'm
like a princess. Yeah.
But you can't be that way like this. Like, there are times when you're going to have to step back and you're going to be like, all right, I'm going to have to not be so needy right now. Or, okay, I'm going to have to, like, build him up and not expect me to just, always get put on this pedestal.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of bratty now that I say it like that.
No, but I get it. Like, you have to step up and almost be the man and the female sometimes, or, like, the man and the woman. Just because, like, they are really, like, working to provide.
Hang on tight. Yeah. Get through that first year, and then it'll be, like, all well-rounded, and you'll see, like, how all the pieces go together, and, like, what your pieces are going to be, and how you can help him.
Yeah, like, where perform. You fit in it.
Yeah.
I think that is a hard thing, like, figuring out where you can go in the scenario. Because you probably know couples, too. Like, I know couples where, like, she doesn't want to go on the tournament weeks because she thinks she'll be, like, a hindrance, which, like, to be honest, you probably could be, but you probably won't. You'll probably be a help as long as you, like, figure out where to go in. But I do think it takes a little bit to figure that out, like.
Well, yeah, and it took me until this season, and now I'm actually having to do more stuff this season.
Because she travels full-time, so.
I travel full-time, and he was like, oh, you're going to do my social media? And I'm like, great.
Which, technically, she already was doing. However, she was putting it on her page.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl, you're paying someone to do what you do on your page. Just put it on his page. Because she does a very good job. So now she's helping in that, which we'll get into a little bit too. But so last question, then we'll take a little bit of a break. But if we had a WAGS fishing tournament, and I ask this all the time, which I think is funny, which wife or girlfriend do you think would win?
So actually, before Kara asked you on the last one, because I was always sitting in the back listening to her. So when you first asked this question for your very first interview, I was like, oh man, this is loaded. Because, like, I'm married to Spencer, so I've been around him for so long that he's, like, so OCD, he's got to know all these little parts. So when you asked this question, I'm like, is anybody allowed to be in the boat with you?
Yeah.
Ask, yes. Your significant other allowed to drive the boat? Are they allowed to take you to the spot? Can they rig all of your stuff?
See?
And run the trolling motor, because then that's a very different question on who's going to win.
Yes. I know. Someone had commented that, like, the first time, too. And I think, like, I think it would be more fun if the guys drove us around.
Yeah.
And we had to cast and catch the fish. Because it would suck. Like, it would suck for them to just watch that happen.
Yes.
Like, it would be hysterical. But I think it would be, like, very fun for us. Because that, for me, and, like, I say this all the time, like, I know exactly, because I've, same with you, like, been in the boat with him a million times. Like, I know what he is technically looking for, or looking at. Probably not looking for is the right word. I know what he's looking at and trying to catch when he's trying to catch it. So I, like, would know what he's showing me. but I wouldn't know how to get there by myself.
Or if you were like, how is this going to be ran? Like, are you just going to be like, hey, we're going to this random lake? Because I have no idea how to break a lake down. Like, none. I would just be like, that looks good. Let's go there.
Let's go to all the trees.
And I'm only throwing a chatterbait, so better figure out how to catch him doing that.
So do you think you would win if he was able to do all of that?
I can only throw a chatterbait, so
So
better be a chatterbait tournament. No, I'm not well-rounded at all, so I can probably say safely it would not be me.
Do you think it would be any of our previous guests?
I don't think Kara, because she definitely said she didn't. She saltwater fishes a little, but not.
I feel like Anna or like Katie.
Yeah.
Maybe Irish. She said that they killed it.
Maybe.
I don't know. It would be interesting. Like, I for sure would watch
Are we
that.
doing smallmouth or doing largemouth? Because that's a big difference, too.
That is a huge difference. I would 100% want to go smallmouth fishing. Because
Yeah.
I think largemouth are just dumb. No offense. But they are just so, like, slow. Like, smallmouth is
Then
like...
I definitely couldn't throw a chatterbait.
No, you could.
Because smallmouth's not.
But then you wouldn't really have to think too much, like...
I had to throw a drop shot.
Yeah, you
and
would
he
do a
had to
drop
take it
shot.
to the spot.
Yeah.
And I'm so insanely competitive, and I
crap.
suck at fishing, so I would be like, this is irritating.
Yeah, it would just be a lot. I feel like it could be good.
It would be funny, yes.
I feel like teams. So Kara suggested, and sorry, we've got darker. My light went out. But Kara suggested teams, or was it Iris? I think one of them, my previous guest.
Yeah.
And I think teams would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it need to be like a local pond, because I don't think like a lake breakdown would be like, that would be too much. But I feel like a local pond could work.
Maybe.
You know, we could just like wherever they're going tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, they're going to Stuttgart, Arkansas.
Yeah.
To a private little lake.
The private thing.
Little fish.
Yeah.
That apparently, Spencer says you can catch hundreds
Yeah.
a day.
So I'm hoping so, because it's been a little bit, and Matt's going through fish withdrawals. So I'm hoping they have a good time. I mean, I know they'll have a good time, but hoping they catch a lot of fish. Okay, we're going to take a little break. I'm going to change out batteries and see what happened with my little light right there. And when we get back, we'll dive into the tournament side and how all of that kind of goes. So yeah, we'll see you in a second. We are back. So let's dive into the tournament world. So I know Spencer's story is similar to Matt's in that he never has remembered like not fishing, like he's always been fishing. But something that I don't think people know is, and kind of like how we mentioned, Spencer has not only been fishing nationally recently, so since 2020, but he qualified to fish the FLW tour. Is that what it was? And he fished that tour for, which it would be like 9 years before he had to stop fishing for a little bit. So again, like I think that is pretty insane. I think it's like a testament to not only him, but also his fishing ability, because like I said, people ask all the time, how on earth do you get here? And he not only made a professional tour once, but he actually did it twice. So I think it's pretty crazy. So kind of starting from there and starting from the bottom of the whole story, how did he get into fishing?
So his dad, Ron Shuffield, he fished professionally. So probably from the time he was born, his daddy was planning on him fishing, but he loved it, so it worked out. So he's actually was an accident, so he's 10 years apart from his brother.
I didn't know that.
He kind of got to go with his parents when he was smaller, and he'll tell me stories of like he'd be riding in the car to a fishing tournament, and he'd have his like little blanket, and he'd hang it out the window, and his dad smoked, and it would smell like cigarette smoke, and he would sniff it, and he'd go to sleep. And so he's traveled with them when he was real little. He knows some of the families that are still out there.
From traveling. And so like he would go to all the tournaments, and while Ron was like weighing in, he would be like out there at the bank like throwing his little pole, like trying to catch stuff. And when he got left at home, like his mama, they had a pond, and she would like take him out to the pond and let him go fish. And so his dad told him when he was little, I think he was like
he told me 4 or 5. He really wanted to go fishing with his dad. His dad went fishing all the time when he was home. And so his dad said, well, you're not going with me until you can throw a bait caster. So Spencer, his little 4-year-old self, walks out there and learns how to throw a bait caster so he can go fishing with Dad. And they fish local tournaments.
Which it's difficult, by the way. Like, I still have not 100% figured it out.
Oh, I've got the gear turned. He turns it all the way up.
Drag, yeah.
Yes. So, like, he doesn't have to pick out.
That's where you create, when people say, like, bird nesting your reel, it's with a bait caster. It's very hard.
Yes, you have to know when to put your thumb on it to slow it down, all that. Very hard for a 4-year-old to be told, you have to throw this or you can't go. Like, I had a Zebco till I was probably 14.
Me too. I still have it. It was like a 2-piecer. My peepaw gave it to me.
Anyway, so he fished local with his dad, and every time they won a tournament, his dad would, like, split the money with him. So he had a savings account, and he would put all of the money in a savings account from the local tournaments they won. So by the time he was 17, I think, he actually bought his first boat with cash from winning the tournament.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Aw. No, that's awesome. And then, so like she said, he finished high school a semester early because the tour was starting early. So
January.
So it always starts every year in January. So if he were to have to finish school that last semester, January through May, obviously he couldn't go on the tour. So he hurried up and got it done by December so that he could go on tour that next year that he had qualified for, which is crazy. So him and his dad fished together on tour? Not together, because it's not a team thing, but like on the same tour.
Spencer started off in the back of the boat as a co-angler, won co-angler of the year, and moved to the front of the boat, I think in 2012.
Okay.
So, and I don't know what year his dad retired, but they got to fish together, both professionals, for several years and travel together before his dad retired from it.
Oh, that's so fun. Did Spencer crush his dad, or did his dad crush him?
I don't really know. Probably his dad beat him, but don't quote me on that, because he's going to watch this and be like, no, he didn't.
He never. Yeah. And it's crazy. So we talk about how fishing changes, and it's been changing, forever. And like she said, he fished as a co-angler, but back then the co-anglers were also professionals. They like flopped, didn't they? They did some like interesting things with the tour and how it was like videoed and all of that stuff. So I think it's cool that he like fished through some of those changes too, because Major League Fishing bought FLW, and it had changed significantly, obviously, before they even had bought it, and it's more, like it is now, with the invitational circuit. So that was that circuit, but
yeah, you had to start at the back of the boat and work your way to the front, and now you don't have co-anglers in the pro circuit. It's just the front of the boat, just the boaters now.
Just the boaters. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But obviously, it's all good things. And regardless of how it was, like, still trying to figure out and navigate your way through to the professional level it's always difficult, but figuring that out is always good. So obviously, they went through a lot to get back to where they are, which is here. But what do you think the biggest contributor to you guys like getting back here was?
Probably all the people that just kind of helped us when we didn't really have the means to do. So, like, all the people that let Spencer borrow their boats for, like, to fish tournaments, or because he had to sell everything, he literally had nothing. So, like, he was borrowing, like, tackle and rods and, like, a boat, and he just had so many people that were rooting for him to, like, get back, that we would have never made it. Our neighbors, we happened to move. I moved out of my Mimi's house because it was just, me and Kennedy living in my Mimi's house, and when we got married, we all moved. Our whole blended family moved into a rent house, and we had great neighbors that they're actually going to fish with tomorrow. Jamie Bridges. They own the alligator farm here in Hot Springs, and they were amazing. They helped us with the kids. Like, Spencer and Jamie fished together, and just the whole support system that we had back then, we wouldn't be where we are now if we didn't have all of those people back then.
Oh, I was wondering because I didn't know that answer. I was just writing it so I could figure it out, so I could find out. Because it's different. It's different for everyone, but I do feel like resounding, like it is, though it makes the world feel so small and comfortable, especially in like times that just like suck sometimes. The world can be so kind when people constantly tell you that it's not. I still get chill bumps like that because again, like it's just good. Like there are very good people out there, so I'm glad you had them too. So obviously you had no idea what a national tour season was like when they started dating, because like she said, when they started dating, he was not fishing, did not have any fishing equipment to even pond fish. So is it what your expectations, like did you have any preconceived notions, like did you even know any part of what you were getting into?
No, I didn't know. The only fishing I had seen was like, the weekend tournament scene, which is nothing. Like when Mr. Bass, when Cody Kemp and Evan Barnes had it, like Cody would let me like help work the tournament. So like I knew local tournaments, but scene, national scene is, totally different. And even going from pro circuit to Bass Pro Tour is like night and day. It's total different. So I don't think anything can prepare you for that. I did become a nurse and then have went through like Ebola and COVID and all that. So that I think was worse. But if you can handle that, you can handle anything.
I would agree. And you were like in constant craziness because it's operations. So it's not really... I feel like you were built for it a little bit. So if you had to do it all over again, what is something you wish you knew, like, and would have tried right off the bat?
So actually, I don't know if I would change it, but like halfway through my nursing school, we had started realizing like, hey, if he's going to go back professional, we're going to have to build you up PR-wise, like your social media aspect. And so there for a little while, we like debated real hard about me like withdrawing and doing his social media. Ultimately ended up not, but I feel like had we, maybe not me quitting, but like had we like carved aside or maybe like figured something out, made time, I feel like things would have been a little bit different. So I would change that. I think I'd still finish nursing school. I think I made the right decision there, but I do feel like we would have placed, I think we were just so focused on him trying to get back to that level, but like that other aspect is so important too. Yeah,
on the sponsor side, like it helps you build your whole brand, which luckily for Spencer too, like he did have some connections from like that previous life, but at the same time, like it is such a different world than it even was back then, and how they did sponsorships and like how, they used to sponsor like teams of guys instead of like you individually. And the you individually didn't depend on, your influence online. It was like your soul fishing ability because it was live TV only. There wasn't any other avenue people could access you. So that was like very different world.
Yes, dramatically different.
Yeah. Which I think y'all do a phenomenal job now. So we'll talk about like where you guys can find them at the end. But they really do. So go check them out. But if you didn't know, or if you knew what you knew now, like jumping into the tournament scene, this is not on here, but it's just a road question. What do you think the first thing like you would tell like a new girl is about jumping in? Expectation wise, because you went from not to like full on travel, you know what I mean? Like, is there any difference? Is it like a culture shock? Is it
I guess it would depend on like if you're newly married and it's just you two, or if you have a family. Like for me, kind of working into like going full time was better, just because like our kids are a little bit older now. It's easier to be away from them. It's easier for people to take care of them.
Yeah.
I don't feel as guilty going with him. If it's somebody that just is like, it's just you two and you're just married, you know, like Nick and Bella Hatfield, it's just them, like, go for it, full-fledged, like,
absolutely.
just go for it, and, I mean, it's great. Like, that's the life that you go into, and she knew that that's what she was going into. I had no idea.
That you helped it become what it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, wow, all right, I did that.
It is good though. Like, I definitely think he's where he should be.
He is. I couldn't imagine him, and he'll tell you now. He'll just be like, I don't even know where my head was at, because like he literally can't do anything else. Like nothing. Like the man does nothing else besides fish. That is it.
It's what they love. Like, it is what it is. So, what is your favorite part about this life? So we kind of talked like about the man, but what about this life?
Probably this year has been my favorite so far. Getting to like when I'm home, I work, and I kind of have that. I have my own career, but I also place his career on a pedestal. So it's a very good balance for both of us. The traveling, getting to see different places. I get to support him in that role, but like when I'm home, I get to do my career too.
Yeah. You like have the nice separation. I know. That was something that I was worried about when I left my job full time and like started working, you know, we started working together full time, was like how and where I was going to find that balance, which obviously this show has helped with that significantly, and just making sure like I actually do have a work life, because it is a job like on my side too. But I love that you get to come home to like people who know nothing about bass fishing, or like, you know, just a life outside of it, because it can be very consuming in the best way. But if you talk to people who know nothing about it, it's just like, it gives you like a whole different perspective on it, I feel like.
Yeah, I do actually charge when I'm home in the OR. So like I'll be gone and I'll get texts from like some of the surgeons that are fans of Spencer's, and then like when I get home they want to ask me all these questions, but then they're like, but did you get my patient ready? Did you make sure my schedule's in line? I'm like, yes I did all of that.
What do you think the biggest misconception about this life is that people have? So like those people, you know, outside of the fishing life, what did they think about your life? Or what did they
I think that most people, when you tell, like, when somebody asks you, oh, well, what does your significant other do? And you tell them, oh, he's a professional bass fisherman. They're like, that's a job? And I'm like, yes. It is a very hard job. There is physical, I mean, because fishing is like, you're not in an arena, like you watch it live. Like, people don't think about it as a professional sport. So I feel like people don't take their job seriously. Like, it's not considered a sport, but they're every bit as much of an athlete as a professional football player is. Like, they have to go out, even when he comes home and he's spending time with his kids, when he drops them off at school, he's going to the lake, because a football player, they have to practice their skills. Like, and I just, people are just all the time, oh, well, that just must be the life. That just must be so easy. And yes, he wakes up every day and he loves his job, but that's what it is. It's a job. It's not just a hobby, and people think that it is because
it's their hobby, or like their friend down the road's hobby.
I mean, it's a legitimate, dedicated job that has all of these aspects, and it's not just the physical part. And, you know, professional fishermen, and I keep comparing them to like a professional football player, like, they don't make as much as professional football players, so I feel like they have other things that like they have to do that like another professional wouldn't do. Like even the social aspect, because I mean, while, you know, Patrick Mahomes might be sending out some of those tweets and Instagram posts, it's probably not all of them. No, definitely not. Like, walk around with photographers, and we are the photographers. Me recently knew. She's More saturated in it.
More tenured. My abilities. But that's what I get too. It's always like, oh, that must be nice.
Yeah.
Or like,
I'm like, is it though?
I know.
I mean,
like,
sometimes it is, but do you really know?
I know. I just want them to go out on the boat with him for a day. Because honestly, he'll knock their socks off every single time. I'm like, please, just go. Honestly, he would make 5 casts and reel in 4 fish off those 5 casts before you ever even got out the chair. Yeah. It's a sport. So obviously I know you guys Airbnb because we stay together and we Airbnb. So this year it's us, Matt, Stephen, Drew Gill, all in one. But previously, did he do hotels, camper life, like any of that, or has it always been an Airbnb?
No, like when he traveled with his dad the first time, they always did hotels, but Airbnbs weren't really like a thing back then. And I think through the years, like the first couple, like maybe the first year he did hotels, and then he started staying with Evan Barnes, and so they stayed together. And I think they would try to get Airbnbs, but
I was still kind of at the beginning of them.
Yeah, it was still kind of at the beginning, but they're not like at that point. I wasn't like trying to manage all of his things, and so he was kind of just going with the flow, and like. Evans wasn't married, and so he's a dude, and
there's no planning.
No, there's no planning at all. Like they just were like, oh, let's do this, and so probably mostly hotels. Never a camper. I don't think he could do a camper. He's too like the shower would not. Just no. And I'm grateful that you do the Airbnbs because let me tell you right now, that's a stress all in itself because with 4 guys and 4 boats staying in one area, you gotta have parking, you gotta have all that. I don't have to worry about that. She does.
Yeah. It works out. I know, but same deal. Like Matt likes his showers, his kitchen, like everything a certain way.
Feel like you're kind of at a home.
Yes,
you're not at your home.
Very clean. Like not just, because at the beginning, he wasn't staying in anything that cost money, right? So
yes.
It was hit or miss on, how good that was, which now, thank God, we can kind of pick where we want to be. So I like to be the one picking so that I know that it's clean and organized, has enough big beds, all of the things, outlets, Wi-Fi.
All of the guys that stay with us are 6 foot or taller.
Yeah. Which funny side note, and I'll probably get trolled for this a little bit, but going to the Classic, I can honestly say that MLF is where all of the tall anglers are, and Bass is where all of the shorter guys are. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I don't know how, but someone needs to go through and put all their heights because, it is wild.
Stats.
Yes, we need, arm span height stats because it is wild how many people I thought were taller on TV because obviously we're fans of the sport first, so we watch everything, MLF and Bass, and they are so much shorter in person. I could not believe it. So there must be some in the water over there, but we got the tall guys, and our house in particular is every bit above 6'2" at least, 6'3" at least. They are ginormous. And actually, BTL was talking about this the other day, and I commented on it because he had Matt Steffen on, and we had gone bowling with them. So Matt Pangrat, who does that podcast, he was like, you guys are massive. And I was like, they really are. And, we're shorter, so it's just funny.
Yeah, when they sit on the couch together, it's funny. It's all of their heads are all like super tall, and so
and
she's got
above the couch,
have her camera up on a pedestal so that it can get all of them in there.
It's too good. It really is. You guys, if you haven't, go on it's Matt's channel and watch their tournament preview. It's the practice recaps. They are a freaking hoot. So we'll continue doing those, but they're very funny. They're just a bunch of goofballs, but we love them. Okay, so obviously tournament weeks we generally cook at home just because the guys are out late. So I know, but when y'all go home, after tournaments, do you guys typically cook at home or eat out? And do you guys have a favorite meal to make with the kids or a favorite place to get stuff?
We try to eat at home just because it's easier with 3 kids. They're getting to the age now where they can kind of sit still, but they still like to like be able to do like roam. And when you've got 3 kids and they've got to like sit in a seat at a restaurant, it's just not great.
Not as fun.
So I either DoorDash or we cook dinner. And we don't really have, when we have our movie nights, we do that on Fridays because they don't have school the next day, and we have pizza.
I love that. We used to do pizza nights at my house too. We were like balling on a budget when I was growing up. So we would do, I think if they got like, it was like kids eat free or kids got a free pizza or something. And I loved it. But that was only like we did once a month maybe, or every other month or something, like because it was too much. But I love that every Friday night. I wish we did that, like me and Matt even, just did our own like consistent one night a week thing, because ours just varies so much. What is y'all's favorite meal when we travel? I never asked that.
I don't know what his would be. He likes that Chinese chicken that you make.
He does love that.
And the fried rice. I don't know. I like the zucchini.
Oh, yeah. I know. I kind of gotten away from making it. I need to do it again.
The zucchini with the Parmesan and broccoli, with Parmesan. Spencer eats anything. He loves anything food.
Yeah, and he puts ketchup on everything.
Yes.
So.
Any kind of sauce. Him and Drew can tear down some food.
It is wild. I mean, it's truly baffling how much food they eat. Like we said, they're tall, but him and Spencer and Drew, I mean, they could eat a pound of spaghetti noodles by themselves. It is wild. And then still roam the kitchen to see if there's any leftovers.
And want dessert.
Yes. And then they still want dessert. And not only do they want cookies, they want it with ice cream. They're cans. They're cans. I know Matt Steffen calls our house Fat Camp because it can't lose its winter weight. Oh my gosh. So when he went back nationally, was the plan to stay home and with the kids, do nursing, or did you plan to travel?
I don't think we really had
a plan.
We didn't have a plan. We just, I think financially it was great for me to have my job because I made good money. And so I think at some point I was like, well, because he's I didn't go with him at all at first. And so he didn't know what it was like when I wasn't there.
Right.
And then I got to go to a few. And then, so when I wasn't at those, he was like, this is dumb, I really hate this. I felt like he was acting like Eeyore. And so even now, if I don't get to go, which is rare, I'm always like, what does he act like when I'm not there? Because then I feel bad. So it was never my plan, I guess, to go. Would I want that? Yes, which I'm doing it now. But still, with the kids and stuff, if the girls have a cheer competition out of state, I'm not going to expect the grandmas to take them to Kentucky or wherever, and so I'll have to go do that for them. Yeah, we went to Chicago this year, so I've had to fly into several. But what we have now is the ideal situation on how it's going to be, and I think it'll get even better as the kids get older.
Yeah.
And maybe they won't be they don't get to go with him during the summer when they're out of school because they've got extracurriculars that they do that they have to be here for. So that wasn't the plan, but I'm glad it is where it's at now. And when I don't get to go, I feel bad because he'll be like, this is dumb, I hate this. I feel like he's moping in his room. And when we're there with y'all and I'm there, we're talking to people and we're having a good time. And
he's never moping in his room, but he definitely is man, I'm not gonna sleep well without her here.
That makes me feel wanted.
Yeah, it is. Or he'll just sit on the couch. Man, if Kristen was here, we'd be doing this. I'm well, don't make her feel bad about it. She has to be in 5 different places at once, so I think you do a good job of that. And then, do you guys plan to bring the kids to any of the events? All of the events? I know they came twice last year, I think. Once last year?
No, just one. So we try to do at least one where they get to come, but it's kind of hard because it has to be somewhere where BPT is taking the anglers that there's stuff to do.
Yeah.
Because Sometimes
some of them are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, like no cell phone service. I can't DoorDash. There's no coffee places, no breakfast, and grocery stores 30 minutes away.
Yeah, or an hour. No, that makes sense. Yeah, last year they came to Cherokee Douglas.
Which was Gatlinburg.
Yeah, and the time before, did they come to Richmond? Did y'all go to Williamsburg?
Yes.
Was that what that one was? Yeah. And then New York? Have they been up? Did they come up there for his title win?
No, they weren't there. They weren't there for the title win. But they made lots of posters when we came home and we're waiting outside.
Oh, so that kind of like dives me in. Like, what would Spencer say is his favorite moment or biggest highlight of his career? And it doesn't have to be that.
No, it probably is that. He would either say that or coming back his second time, because I also feel like a lot of people think that he only made it the first time because of his dad. But like the second time, that was all him. And so nobody can say, oh, you're just here because your dad and he was a professional. No.
Yeah. And the first thing that she was saying, he won the title championship, which is huge. And it was, let me think, 21. Up in New York. It was awesome. We were there, but we didn't really know each other then.
Well, we were in the same house, so I think you were still working, and you were on your computer.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I was upstairs, not watching live, and so like I can hear her yell, and then like I've got live off because, again, I like do when we've talked about this the whole like, oh, he's doing good, I'm gonna watch. Oh, he's not, so I'm not gonna watch. And so, but then somebody was like, oh, you need to watch, he's doing really good. And then I turned it on, and like 5 minutes later, he like dedicated a fish to me, which is like a first ever. And I was like, finally, after 2 years, I got a fish dedicated.
That was crazy. We were in our Waddington house.
Yeah, the really big old house.
Yes. And we still didn't like, so at this point, this was like when we first, was that the first time? No, it would have been, was it the second time we stayed together? Was that the first time we stayed together?
Probably, because I wasn't going to all of them. Like, Spencer may have stayed with y'all several times, but I don't think he was, like, fully.
Right. But that was, like, the first time you were fully there. And so I was working full-time for 2020 season, end of 2020, 2021 season, and 2022 season? Yeah, 2022 season. So 2023 season was my first season not working. Whew, that's weird. But yeah, that was intense. Like, my hair was falling out and all these things. So you were upstairs in that room. I definitely did not remember that. But I was probably on a conference call. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
I do.
I remember. Well, yeah, I remember it now. I remember. Didn't his friend Chris come up and stay before that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had like a Toyota series or something, and then his friend Chris came up and stayed. Yeah, I do remember that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. And Kurt was staying with us. Yep. Kurt was Kelsey there?
I think so.
With the dog?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember. So I remember after he won, like, you were standing in the thing and like you were like holding the check or something. I remember going by and just being like, I'm so excited for you guys, but you were like still like tear stricken. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a very cool. And y'all got a belt and a ring, right?
Yeah, so he has like the big WWE like blinged out belt, and actually they don't even have the Pro Circuit title anymore, so he won the last ever Pro Circuit title. Yeah,
so right after that, they changed the Pro Circuit over to the Invitationals, and they actually don't have a title event at all in the Invitational. So not only did he win the last title event, but the last Pro Circuit title event too. So, I mean, that was insane. It's like $200,000, like just like huge win. Just crazy moment. So was that your favorite moment as well of his career?
Probably, because I think that's really like the first time I've ever seen, like, I know how hard he worked to get there, and seeing him on stage get emotional, like, as soon as his voice cracked, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm done. And I just know what it felt to him, and like I could like hear him at nighttime, you know, when they come in and they're like telling you how their day went, and he's just like, man, I I really feel like I need to win this one, or I really feel led to do this. And I'm like, then do it.
Yeah.
And it's just very, it was very bittersweet getting to see that. And I remember kind of like, and I still was new, so like I didn't know what to do. So I'm like standing by the camera, like back here that's video, and I'm just like bawling. I think it was Kim, and she's like, do you want to go up there? And I'm like, yes.
Oh, I remember you being like, I don't want a video, like I just want to watch him, like I want to see him in this moment.
I didn't want to take any pictures, I didn't want a video, I just wanted to experience that moment.
Like with him. No, that was awesome. So, what is y'all's typical tournament day routine? I know what it used to be, but I don't know if they still do it or not.
I don't, so it depends on, I guess, where we, like, tournament morning, obviously Brittany makes breakfast for everybody because she's amazing, the guys, and so he gets it or whatever, and we go, and then usually he's like, I gotta get snacks in the morning. So on the way to the ramp, we still do it. We listen to Adele Hello every single morning for the ramp on competition
Adele
day.
Hello.
And we sing together.
It's like my favorite thing ever. Like, I don't even remember how we accidentally found that out, but it's like truly fabulous.
Yes, and so if it's still going when we get there and he like has to pick his Marshall up, he's like turning it down because he doesn't want people hearing. I'm like, nope, we're still going.
It is still on. I love that. Do you guys have any like other routines that you do or like to do?
No, I think he really likes to go out to eat before the night before a tournament. Like Matt likes his spaghetti, and sometimes you can't go out to eat because it's in the middle of nowhere, but he does. I think he likes to like go out, and it kind of like just gives him like a reset, and he just, the night before, he like will recap like his whole practice. He'll be in the bed and he'll just like be talking about his whole practice, and then he wants to like cuddle a certain way, and then he'll set his alarm, and then we'll try to watch a movie, and then he ends up falling asleep and then gets mad at me because I didn't turn it off.
Because he wants to finish the movie.
But I can't ask him.
And she's not ready to go to sleep.
Yeah. And he's like, no. But then if I turn it off, and he gets mad. So
it's a whole thing. So, we kind of talked about this, but are you completely out of the fishing business, or do you help Spencer with some of it?
If anything that revolves around paperwork, contracts, social media, emails, anything with a computer, anything he has to read, I do that.
Yeah.
He fishes.
So, yes, it's definitely not always just a one, like, kind of like what we talked about before with, like, football. Like, they get to just focus on football because they have people for everything. Like, we are the people for everything else. I think it's good. I think it's fun, and I like being that connected to the business, too, because then you know what's going on, you know, just as much as he does.
Even, like at the beginning of the season, when, like, their sponsors send them the things, they're supposed to send them the orders.
Yeah.
It's usually on, like, an Excel on a computer, and, like, I don't order it for him. Like, he has to tell me what he wants, and I'm typing it in the entire time.
Yep.
So, when I say all he does is fish, that is it.
Sole obligation. And cook. He does make a mean crappie.
Yes, he does cook when he's home.
When he's home. Okay, now that we're not overheated. Okay, what is something random that you do that you think helps make Spencer more successful on the water?
Well, it's not random, but going with him, I think, helps him. I talked about it before. Me being there, I think, eases his mind. Like, he has a little piece of home with him. Not that I'm his safety blanket, but, you know, it's just... Yeah. And having a good attitude, even if he doesn't have a good practice, because you know as well as I do, it's very much a mind game as well as the physical aspect. Yeah. And so I think if my attitude is bad, or like he says, I had a bad practice, I'm like, oh, great. Then it's just like there's no going up from there. Like, it's just kind of downhill. So even if I'm having a bad day, if it's a tournament week, I'm gonna put on my best face and I'm gonna be happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that kind of actually is like what goes into making, or like a hard part about loving a tournament angler, because not that like, I mean, Matt's pretty even keel, but still like if I'm having a bad day, like letting him know I have a bad day it's like not the time, you know, like it just isn't. And to be really honest, normally my bad day like doesn't really, it like sucks for me that day, but it's not actually a bad day, you know, like it just isn't, it can wait. But I definitely think he does better when you're there. Because I do think, not that you're his safety blanket by any means, but I do think he, like you said before, he has such a passion for fishing and his family that like having a part of his family, and obviously his chosen family, with you being his choice and wife, there is just like, it's huge.
Yeah, so when we were at the beach for spring break and he had to leave to go to UMF and I had to come home, like the entire time he was like, I don't want to go. Can you just call your work and tell them you're not taking call? I really don't want to go. And so the whole time, I even knew, like, before he even, like, went, I was like, he's going to be in a bad mood. This is not going to be good.
Yeah, so UMF is Ultimate Match Fishing, and he was there while we were at the Classic Expo. So he got matched up with Dave Lefebvre. Dave Lefebvre, and they did Ultimate Match Fishing against each other. And the way that Ultimate Match Fishing, it's like just for TV, I believe, or just for YouTube or something.
Yeah,
just for
it's a TV show.
Okay, just for TV, which is awesome. You are on the same boat and you flip front to back like every 30 minutes or every hour or something like that.
90 minutes.
Okay, every period. And I also knew he was already going to be like not in it fully, because him and Matt were trying to go fishing together. And it was like, if he had kept fishing and like won, then they wouldn't have been able to go fishing together. And his whole family was on vacation and he was having to leave the vacation early to go. So I knew he wanted to do it, but I know that the timing was just like not in his headspace's favor. That, and then, Dave, like, hid some baits of his in the middle of the thing, because the cool part about Ultimate Match is, like, anything goes. And I really think that instead of just scheduling, like, 2 random people, I really think they need to schedule 2 friends, because, like, if him and Matt were on the boat together, like, you can cut each other's line, you can, like, push them in the water. I mean, you could do, like, anything in Ultimate Match, and I, like, truly think they're missing the boat if they don't have people who know each other on the same boat.
You friends.
Yes.
Competitive friends.
Yes, competitive friends, because it would be hilarious. Like, I think it'd be so funny. Or like even like Wesley and Suggs. Like, I think that they would just be like a riot together, because they're just, friends. Or like Edwin and Odd, or Edwin and, Andy Montgomery. Like, it would just be so funny. So that's what they were doing last week. So how many more years do you want to see Spencer fish?
Oh, he's going to fish until he can't. I mean, 100%. If he's out there, like Mark Davis is, or, until he's like 75, go for it. Yeah. I say those guys are chasing their dream, eventually they'll have to retire, but if that's what they're passionate about and they're still able and they're still comting, then they're going to be happy. I mean, that's what makes them happy, so go for it.
Yeah, I love it. I hope they're, little wrinklies out there just
still kicking butt.
Matt will still be like, I'm not throwing a Carolina ring. I'll be like, you're 80, throw one. You're 80. So, do you watch live?
Yes. Well, depends. If I feel like I'm affecting the juju, then no, I do not.
She plays the game too. If it's going well, you continue to watch. If it's not, you don't. Or you go take a shower, or she'll be like, I had to walk away. Can you watch in front of other wives?
Probably not. I've never had to watch in front of multiple people. I know we can watch together, but like we understand the general.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if somebody were to say something, I would just be like,
Yeah.
You know, me and my facial expressions don't do real well. You're going to see it before I say it.
Yeah, like, it is, I think it's difficult sitting at a table. This is why, like, whenever we do anything or, like, go out, especially, like, with other wives, like, I like them on practice days because, one, everyone's there, and two, there's really nothing, like, for us to watch or, like, not that we're competitive, it's just, like, it would be hard for me to sit at a table and knowing Matt's, like, doing bad or good and then someone else doing bad or good. And, like, it's an opposition versus, like, when we watch, and I was talking to Sarah Steffen about this. So Matt Steffen's wife came to Red Crest last week, and she's like, so, like, how do we do, you know, this, like, the live fishing thing? And I was like, we want everyone in our house to hit the money, and then after that, it's like dog eat dog. And I was like, however, like, we want our house to do better than everyone else, but still, like, knowing our person is, like, who we are rooting for to win. Now, in a perfect world, it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4 for our whole house. Like, that would be awesome. But at the end of the day, like, sitting in front of other people, knowing that I'm 100% rooting for my guy to win and hoping that he does, like, watching him either do good or bad in relation to that, and then their guy either doing good or bad in relation to that is very hard. And honestly, like, I can only do it really, like, with you. I'm only okay with it because I, like, know, I mean, I feel like Spencer and Matt kind of fish similarly. So even if they're having, like, a rough day, like, we know that they can always come back because they are, like, their minds are, like, that good. Like, they will figure it out, or they will figure something out. So it's like we can kind of root for each other, knowing, you know, that it's not like that they'll never come back or never have that chance.
We also very actively participate in commentary. So, like, while you football people are yelling at the TVs, we're yelling at the live stream.
Yes. And we definitely think it helps. I think it definitely does.
Yes.
So we root for our favorites and all along the way. And, like, she was, like, we were talking earlier, she was saying, like, we want our people to do well, and if that is weller than our person, we're excited for them, like, absolutely wholeheartedly. Like, at the end of the day, obviously we wish our guy was in the number 1 spot or whatever it is, but if they aren't, 100% very excited that our other guys are, meaning, like, our house. And obviously Spencer and Matt have been traveling together forever, so we're always, you know, rooting for each other. It's just kind of like how we set it up, I guess. Like, I don't really know, like, you know, how we decided that. But it was decided that we could watch together. And we watched similarly.
I think we kind of started out, like, in different rooms.
Yes.
And then maybe we kind of just, like, migrated. And then we kind of just felt it out, like, can we sit in the same room? And they're like, okay, this
How
works.
does she watch? How does she watch? So from your perspective, knowing some of the guys and then Spencer, like, what do you think makes a successful angler?
Dedication and time on the water. Like I said, if he's fishing a tournament, you know, he's out there on the water. When he comes home, yes, he's here, like, spend time with the kids when they're home from school, but, like, he's 100% at the lake. Like, all the different lakes surrounding Hot Springs, he's on the water, tackle prepping, watching videos, practicing, honing his skills. And you have to have that dedication, because you can't just go fish a tournament and then come home and be, you know, sometimes they have, like, a month between, and then sometimes, you know, it's just, like, a week or two. But if you're not doing anything on that time off, you're gonna get rusty.
Yeah.
Like, they have to skip stuff under docks, and, like, you have to practice that skill.
Yeah.
And I think somebody that's just like, oh, I made it, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, you never are.
Yeah.
It's a constant fight.
Yeah. And it's constantly changing.
Yes.
So if you just hang it up, like, you are treating it like a hobby, not like a job. And I don't expect that you should expect to be as successful either. Because I totally agree with that. Like, we get to watch them every day, all day, just focusing on that. So, obviously, no wonder they're wildly successful in both of their rights, because they spend so much time doing it. So, one last question, and then we'll wrap it up with a few quick hits. What are you most proud of that you and Spencer have accomplished together, fishing or non-fishing related?
We talked about the whole first half, like going from, we were at the lowest of lows in both of our lives, and we hit the ground running and didn't stop, even if we broke legs along the way, until we got to now, and we're still running, but we're like at a leisurely jog. Yeah.
Slow down a little bit, thank gosh. No, I am wildly proud of both of you for that. It's truly insane. It's definitely something no one can take from y'all. So, what is your well, we'll do a few quick hits, or we're going to wrap up with those. So, what is your PB and where did you catch it?
Probably on Lake Catherine. We used to live on Lake Catherine. So, when he didn't have a boat, he would use Jamie's boat just if he wanted to go out. And, like, when I say boat, I mean, like, Jamie's paddle boat that he kept in the water. Actually, I think it had a little motor.
Like a little John boat?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, he took us out there, and I actually have a video of him. It's hilarious. Going, and he just took us right out in front of, like, their house, and I caught a 5-pounder in Catherine, which is big.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Largemouth.
He was probably like, wipe her up.
Also, not my personal best, but I think it's funny because we've only ever fished one couple tournament together, like, ever. So, it was on, I think it was on DeGray, or maybe it was Washita. I don't remember. But they went to his best stretch because we weren't doing very good, and like I said, all I can throw is a chatterbait. And so I was throwing a jerkbait. He just taught me how to throw a jerkbait. So I was throwing a jerkbait, and obviously I'm at the back of the boat because
he's at the front.
Right. And so he's like, we're almost at the end of his best stretch, and like one gets it and loads up on it, and my rod tip is like bent, and I'm like, yes, I'm about to catch a fish behind him. And he's like, and he like turns around and he like gets the net and he's like all excited. I'm like, I just caught a fish. It comes up and it's a freaking gar. Oh. I caught a gar on a red rattle trap. Please tell me somebody else that can do that. I bet you can.
That's nice. Was he sad?
Yeah, kinda. I think so. He got up to the boat and like cut the line, and he was like, that was a good cast.
That's awesome. So what's y'all's go-to show or movie?
We've had like certain shows and stuff that we watch, but it's kind of hard to like get set on a TV show when you have to like go like travel and stuff, because like some of the Airbnbs we stay at, maybe they don't have that streaming service or like whatever, but we liked Yellowstone. We watched that, and like 1883. He likes those westerns because he watched them with his grandparents. I'm trying to think of something else that we watched.
I got 2 ideas.
Movies. He loves Forrest Gump. We could watch that like a bazillion times over and over and over again. And he's not a Harry Potter fan, but I am. So if Harry Potter is on the TV, that's what we're watching.
100%. We are the same on that. Which, like, that one tournament that had no Wi-Fi, but they had Harry Potter on, like, fully. Don't you remember? Totally to bin.
Yes.
It was totally to bin this year. We had, like, no Wi-Fi, but the TV only played Harry Potter. Basically.
Harry Potter marathon.
It was fabulous. Can you back a boat?
No.
Not even a little bit?
Actually, if he gets it on the ramp and like all I have to do is go straight, then yes. But I'm 100% not going to do it in front of 1,000 people. Yeah. Or cars on either side of me, and I'm going to go straight. Oh, and I can pull out.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can drive it straight though. She can drive it straight.
I just can't like pull it in the ramp and then back it up by myself, which I've never really tried either.
I was about to say, this year we should work on that.
Yeah.
Because no one will be, like, we could go during the day.
And he always says, I don't ever get to back my boat off the trailer. And I'm like, I'll learn.
Yeah. Well, we could secretly practice, actually. That would be kind of
surprise.
Yeah. Because isn't his birthday? Oh, it's May. Well, there's one tournament before then. Maybe for, There is a tournament on his birthday, though. Ooh, maybe we could have it so you could back him for his birthday. Don't watch this, Spencer. Okay, so we did this tonight. But if y'all played Uno together with a group and you had a draw 4 card, would you play it on Spencer?
I'm playing draw 8. Like, if I have the more draw that I can do, that is 100. And that is, Shuffields are incredibly, like, competitive. Like, Aubrey laid it on Matt tonight, like, with the draws.
I know, and then Kennedy had a draw 2 on me, and then I draw 2'd it because they play where you can lay it down so it duplicates. So then Matt had to draw. Oh wait, no, she draw 4'd me, and I draw 4'd him, so he had to draw 8. I am getting better. I actually was thinking about this today because when I asked myself this question when I did my own podcast, I said no because like when I played at home, I didn't do it on
your grandma.
Yes, I played on my Nana. Yeah, instead. And so I was like, well, we're going. And we're going to go for it. Draw 8. So he did. He drew 8.
Yeah.
And then Spencer played, or somebody played the shuffle of the hands, and I got his hand. So it's like karma.
Well, Spencer got my hand twice and won both times. So there's that.
You should have been the winner, is what it is. Okay, one more thing before you leave, which my last guest was actually me because I was talking about Red Crest. So I'm going to ask you what Kara's question was because so hers would be to you.
Okay.
So hers. So, and I'm taking this from another podcast, but I love it. So first, what is your question that you have for our next guest without knowing who our next guest is? Which actually you probably know who our next guest is, but...
That's hard.
I know.
And I already knew this question was coming.
I know.
I just don't... Like, you ask all the questions very thoroughly. If you could pick any dream job, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a really good question. That is a good question. Okay, and then Kara's question is, what is your favorite color?
Pink.
Obviously. Okay, everyone, that is our show. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to follow Kristin or Spencer, where can they look?
I actually am in the process of taking over his TikTok, so if you look there, there's nothing recent. My TikTok is always all about him and our life. So if you want to know like our personal life, you can follow me. I think it's Miss Kristin Shuffield. Yeah. And then he's on Instagram as Spencer Fishing or Shuffield Fishing.
I think it's Shuffield Fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's also on Facebook as Spencer Shuffield Fishing.
Yeah. So go follow them. They're fun. Okay, you guys know I love the women behind Professional Bass Fishing. I love the sport in its entirety, but bringing you guys some of the faces from the backside has been so fun, and I can't wait to share some more stories and perspectives with you all. If you have any questions you think I should ask or guests you want to see on, drop them in the comments below. I plan to release one episode a week throughout this 2024 season and hopefully beyond, so make sure you subscribe to follow along, and I did start an Instagram account for it just so you know when stuff is dropping, and it's just at Random Kitchens. So we will see you guys next time, but thanks for tuning in again. Bye!